Hola! Que pasa? Michael Govier, Travis Roy, Eric Branstrom. It's the official 87th?
Sure.
6?
88? That vicinity.
I don't. You always make those little poster things, so I always assume you're in touch with what the latest episode number is.
I didn't make the last one, so I forget. I think we're on 87.
That's 87. I think. All right, cool. 87th episode of the 7-9 podcast, and today's episode will focus on the main event. Does it hold up? 2005's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, of course, and give it its fair due. We guarantee that on the show. Cinema9pod at protonmail.com if you want to hit us up with an email. 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That would be so cool. It's a holiday season. It's a time to give. Give us a 5-star review, and we will, in return, continue to do awesome, really productive shows week to week. And Travis Roy, as we are in the holiday season now, some people are depressed by it, and we should remember that. You know, not everybody's having a happy-go-lucky free-for-all, but how are you holding up at this point?
I mean, isn't that true of any given time and place? That not everyone's having a happy-go-lucky free-for-all. I feel like trying to make special concessions for people that hate holidays. Like I'm sorry, but shut the fuck up for like a couple of months. We're gonna decorate. We're gonna put things up. You don't have to partake if you're not into it. That's fine, but don't come and poo-poo on my parade.
No poo-poo on your parade.
That's
That's fair. I respect that. By the way, I love these people who do these comments before we even do the show. This is from 4:22 p.m. today.
All right, Miles.
Miles V says, "Love this movie."
No pressure.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean he's going to make it here for the show. But the good news is you don't have to make it here for the live streams. You can watch this episode anytime you want on our YouTube channel. Click subscribe to our YouTube channel. Whenever we go live, it'll notify you. You have to do no work other than clicking the button. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And this seems like a good time also to send a shout out of thanks to Warren Ransom, who
Ranstrom. Is this a coincidence?
This happens to rhyme with one of our hosts' last name.
Give me back my son.
Sure, that's not a relative. Rand. Yeah. But thank you for the kind words on the review on Apple Podcasts. That is always appreciated thing. And if you don't want to take the time to write a review, that's okay. Just click the little 5 thing, and we'll call it a day. All right, there's our plug. Thank you.
Yay! Oh, that sounds so nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. Good times. I appreciate that. Thank you, Warren. Eric Branstrom, Griffith, Indiana. You're on the air.
I still haven't put my Christmas lights up on the outside, and I think I might just skip it this year. Like, I got to get the ladder out, and I got to go to Menards or some shit. I don't know if I can handle that right now.
Menards.
What should I do? I don't want to go to Menards.
Big money at Menards.
I decorate inside my house so much that people driving by can kind of see it through the windows. So I'm going to call that's me decorating outside. I'm not going to get up on my roof. I'm not going to I don't know. There's no plugs outdoors. Where the fuck is this stuff coming from? I don't understand. I am not a handy person. If you know me, you know this.
Shocking. That is shocking. I don't believe it.
Yeah. Well, I can string some lights around my living room and sit down on my couch and enjoy it. And that's nice.
True.
You can make it a home for yourself, and that's all you can ask for sometimes. I really enjoy that. Thank you, Travis. I hope you guys had a great Hanukkah, by the way. Hanukkah's over. It was one of the best Hanukkahs yet, I got to tell you.
Great, man. Happy Hanukkah. I'm happy that you enjoyed it.
Happy
what did you do?
Or Indian friends?
It was just like living everyday life for the most part. Okay. Nothing in particular. It's 8 days. What are you supposed to do? 8 days? Every day you're supposed to do something? The only highlight that I remember from childhood was, getting a box from my Jewish grandparents. They would always send a big-ass Hanukkah box filled with dreidels and the chocolate coins that are common for the holiday, and that's pretty much it. So, and he'd call me on the phone and be like, "Hey, are you enjoying your box, Michael?" Yes, grandfather. Yeah, the box. We've really put it to use. So that's it. Hanukkah's over. It's done. We'll see you in 2022. But as far as Christmas, maybe you've been watching some Christmas films recently, Travis, as we move into quarantine viewing picks. What's going on?
I actually didn't watch any Christmas movies this week. I'm ashamed of myself. I guess unless you count Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which I feel like is a tangentially Christmas movie. It's not like
it's one of those. It's just there.
Like Iron Man 3 right? So Shane Black did that one as well. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
so we talked recently about when we had our new friend Daryl Eds from the Cage Rage podcast on. It was my turn to be on his podcast, so check me out on his upcoming episode where we review 2017's Arsenal, which is not a movie anyone's going to watch, let alone like get into a podcast episode on it, unless you are a hardcore Nicolas Cage fan. So we really just nerded out and just celebrated the man and his and this film, which is not a great film unless you are a Nick Cage fan, in which case it is. So watch that again. Eric, I watched Get Back from Peter Jackson.
Oh yeah,
You strapped in.
Woo. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't quite like you, where I was like, wanting it to never end. There was moments where I'm like, okay, this is going on for a minute, but I really respect that they could have easily made this a 2-hour movie, and instead like went for the whole thing, like gave us like all this time with them, and like really like you're invested in this whole process, and it demystifies them, even as it makes you gain respect for their process and their talent, which I think is a really interesting and amazing thing to do. It puts to rest a lot of important kind of debates and accusations people have made about their end days, and it celebrates those end days instead of mourns them. It's really, really, really well done. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. It was great.
That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I started it up for a minute, but I only got about a half hour in. I got a long way to go still.
It's long, but like that's what I love about it. Like, if you're gonna get wet, you might as well go swimming. And like it's the minutia and it's the little things that wouldn't be in a 2-hour documentary that I'm remembering most about it. So
yeah.
God, I fucking loved it.
Yeah. I really I made it my whole weekend, and I don't know. It just, and I'm someone that like I knew just enough about their mythology to like understand like understand the context of what was happening, but there was also so much about it that was entirely new to me. What's going on, bud?
Now a bug just showed up in my life. It's really cold out. I don't know why there'd be bugs anywhere ever. Turns out it's a ladybug, but it was expanded, so it looked a lot grosser when they're not all shelled up. It would freak me out, but it's okay,
so
ladybug.
Kind of a beetle.
You're barely alive. What are you doing here?
Beetles?
I think so.
I haven't put them in that category.
That is weird.
I only watched one other movie. I watched the Power of the Dog.
Damn, you did it.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about it. At one point, I'm like, man, this movie's really trying to be have some major like There Will Be Blood vibes. And then I realized that Johnny Greenwood was doing the music. I'm like, that explains a lot. And then the time and place is similar. Benedict Cumberbatch does really, really good work here, but like I was definitely kind of like bored, I think, for a good chunk of it. But by the end of the film, I was like, yes, this is awesome. I definitely like it took me on a bit of a ride. I was like not as into it, but by the end, I was really happy with the film. And that's it. That's all I watched this week. It was a busy week. What about you, Eric? Did you get into anything this week?
Yeah, I caught up on a lot of documentaries that I've been wanting to see recently. Cocaine Cowboys is Jesus Christ. When it comes
fantastic.
when it comes to like the whole Miami coke smuggling, that whole era, this is the bottom line. It's so potent and relentless. It gives you so much information, but the weird part is like the documentary is like really like cheap and like kind of poorly made, but it is so encyclopedic in its content that you have to admire it. It's mind blowing. Told straight from the people that were there at the top dogs. So yeah, I dug the film.
Did you watch that?
It's really good.
Did you watch that with your infant daughter?
Yeah.
Is she a cocaine cowboy? Is she into that shit?
Yeah.
Hi, fun.
It's a great documentary. I strongly recommend it, Eric. Good call.
Yeah, man. Behind the Sightings This is a doc. It's not really a doc. It's one of those like fake docs from a few years back. It examines, well, for the first chunk of it, remember that string of like clown sightings?
Yeah.
That were going around. Like it examines that for a little bit. Like, what the fuck was going on? Like, was this orchestrated? But then it does this really dumb thing where it tries to turn into a found footage film of like the scariest encounters, but they're not real. So I was like, what the fuck, man? I'll sit here for 2 hours if you just examine these sightings and we get into it. And did they ever find out who that was? Right. But this was a misfire, unfortunately. Check it out for yourself.
Thank you.
The really good documentary that I liked was...
Yeah. Whoa, she loves it. Passionate, very passionate.
Jesus Camp. Podcaster. Yeah, Jesus Camp 2006.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so it was really good. Like really brief look at evangelical culture and how it affects children. I love the way they made this because they didn't really they didn't try to persuade you or swing you one way or another. They just portrayed this small group of people and what they do in kind of a clinical way, but it's very observant. And I loved it. I took away just so much stuff about this culture and how it's really, in my opinion, inhibiting. I don't want to get into this at all, really, but I can't help but to say that it really makes you think about how we teach our children to trust their own reason, their own intuition, and even how to like process information. So I recommend the documentary, especially for indoctrination culture alone. I really dug the film. It was fantastically made from 2006.
Fascinating. Okay.
Like regular movie wise, my big recommendation here is from 1990. Now, 1990, we had a lot of great psychological kind of horror thrillers. This was one of the best, and I had never seen it. The First Power with Lou Diamond Phillips.
I remember hearing of it.
Remember like the poster when Lou Diamond Phillips has the gun and like there's the pentagram behind him?
Yeah.
Check out the movie on Tubi because it was fucking awesome. But listen to this plot. Let me see who's going to get this first. The plot is a cop is tracking a serial killer that he finally catches. He attends his execution, and the killer's spirit goes into...
It's fucking Fallen before Fallen, really?
Fallen.
Oh.
Before Fallen.
That's wild.
It's Fallen. Throughout the movie, he has to figure out, did it go into him? Did it go into him? But it's genuinely eerie, and there's some fucking incredible sequences that were genuinely terrifying. I fucking loved The First Power, and I always dismissed it as some cheap trash.
Cheap trash. Hard to believe. Yeah, I've never seen that one. I do love Lou Diamond Phillips, though. He's a good man and thorough. I guess that's it for Eric, then. That was his movie watching. Well done. Everybody's hitting the road. I'll take control of the show from here. Let's see. This week, I did not watch as many movies. I really focused on trying to create some new habits for myself. I really got to make some changes or I'm going to die a terrible, terrible death from an awful heart-related illness. I'm sure of it. So, that means less movie watching. Sometimes movie watching could lead to too much garbage being eaten. That happens to me. So I'm trying to make adjustments there. But at any rate, I watched the newest Venom, and boy, that movie fucking sucks.
Yeah. And, the one with the Carnage, that one?
Yeah. I mean, you got the potential. Oh, well, look. You got the potential. Woody Harrelson, hamming it up as Carnage. It's fucking a great casting, but it's just a piece of shit. And did you see it, Eric?
I don't understand this Venom adaptation. Why is Eddie Brock act like some dipshit bum, and why are these comedies?
Yeah, they really take. Yeah, Travis. I mean, if you ever get around to watching it, they really ham it up with Venom. Now that everybody's seen the first one, they kind of like, all right, we're gonna be together now for a while. So they're together now, and guess what? They're gonna get in a fight because they're spending too much time together. It's just like this shitty comedy between Venom and Eddie Brock that's not funny at all. And
The Odd Couple with Venom and Carnage, one of the most prolific serial killers in comic book history, and you're going to make this rated PG-13? Fuck.
Yes! Yeah, that is the biggest beef, dude. There's like no blood in this movie. It's a violent... No, I mean, there's carnage, but they don't show real carnage. They show tons of violence. But they had to get that PG-13 rating, so they pulled the old Dark Knight move. You know, you get rid of all the blood, and if it's violent, that's fine. It's PG-13. But there's no blood, so it's okay. It's such a mind-boggler, this whole concept of if there's no blood, it's not that bad. What the fuck is wrong with you? Point a gun at someone's head, blow their brains out, don't show any blood. It's cool.
Yeah, convince people at an early age that shooting people has no real consequences. That's great.
Yes!
That's a wonderful idea.
Motherfucker, but don't show a tit. Please don't show a tit.
That'll help us. Don't show a titty.
No.
Don't show a buttock or a cock.
No, we can't do that. This is America.
No way. And 2 non-sexual fucks. That's all we're going to give you.
Non-sexual fucks.
Yeah, you get 2 fucks. Make sure you make them count. Really bums me out. Yeah, it's a real bummer. So that movie was a big disappointment. And Tom Hardy is like, he's a living icon. He could do anything he wants, and I'm really disappointed.
Man. Why? He's out there. He's been doing some real shit lately, I feel.
Oh, really? I haven't. What else? I mean, I guess I haven't been keeping up recently, but
Capone was trash.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, Legend. I didn't see, but I heard bad things, and I didn't see
so
it.
Bad.
It looked awful.
Kind of came and went.
I mean, he's kind of like even some of his better stuff has been really under the radar stuff, like The Drop and Lock.
Like The Drop.
They're good films, but like very under the radar. Like people, they're not like his big pictures. But I'm sorry, I've bulldozed your segment here.
No, God, I want to talk about that. I mean, Tom Hardy, he could do whatever he wants. He had carte blanche. I mean, he controlled the movie business because people love the way he looks. They think he's sexy. He's also a great actor, and he has it all. So
what happened?
I just don't know why he made this whole point about how the first Venom didn't go the way he wanted it to. I remember him saying this like literally, and he was really excited. All right, the next one, we're gonna get this right. But no, you didn't get it right at all, man.
How was Circus's direction? Nothing to get excited about?
Yeah, that's a disappointment too. At the end, I forgot that he even directed it. I remembered a while before that, but because it wasn't anything.
Yeah, it's
like you see all these names on it, and you can't believe Michelle Williams is in this movie. A fucking classic actress.
Wasted. So wasted. We got Michelle Williams. We bring her basically into the MCU now, right? Because it's like this weird. I mean, it's like tangentially connected now, and she's been fucking wasted. She could have been. Oh, she could have been any. I mean, she could have
been at least Invisible Woman or something.
She's one of the best actors working. It would have been
stupid trash.
Yes. Also, there is a what do they call them at the end? The stingers. So, what do they call them at the end of the movie? The Marvel things.
Well, now that you've said that, I can't think of the word that they do use.
Are they called stingers?
After credit scenes, I guess, right?
I thought they had a term for them. Anyways.
Reason they made the movie?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It is worth going at the end because there is something interesting that happens that's the only thing about the movie. I was like, oh, shit, okay, so this is where we're going. It's too bad that you had to waste all of our time to get to that point. But it's something you do need to see as a Marvel, MCU dude.
Can't make
me. Just skip to the end and just watch that end credit scene. Go to YouTube and watch it.
I'm gonna watch that on YouTube, I think.
Please do. I watched King Richard because you guys said you liked it, and it's exactly what you guys said it was. Will Smith does a rock solid job. It's a solid film. Mm-hmm. It's a inspirational movie about the Williams sisters, and you really think about it. These 2 girls that come out of Compton, California, and they own like the whitest sport on earth. That's really cool. I do like that, and I've always admired and respected the Williams sisters. They're tremendous athletes. They're incredible ambassadors, and it's just like it was fine. I never got like I don't know. It was just very vanilla in the way, but it's a solid movie, and I know what they're trying to do. Just like Eric said, it's Oscar bait 101. This is the playbook, and
I mean. You gotta give him credit. I mean, like within moments of Will Smith showing up on screen, though, like I do feel like I'm like, oh, this is a bit of a different role. He's trying a little extra harder on this one. You get the sense that he did his homework more than usual on this one.
He definitely did. He put everything into it, including like the walk. Like he leaves no stone unturned for every detail about Mr. Richard Williams' character and
You got-
physical
I mean,
presence.
You got to know what you're getting into there. I mean, if you're expecting the Venus and Serena Williams story, you're gonna get one line by maybe one of them. That's it.
Yeah,
Well,
I think there's more than one, but yes, I get your
don't
point.
think that's
Yes.
true. I mean, they executive produced it, so this is the story they wanted to tell. So
That's true. So that's what I find to be pretty cool as well. I guess they really did admire their father, and you always heard a lot of growing up. The media spin about him was always like this guy's a douchebag, and so I'm glad that this movie was made, and even if it was exaggerated for dramatic effect, that's cool with me because John Bernthal was just so, like you said, he was so funny in this role. This Long Island classic rich dude who's so like he's got no balls, but he does have like a dedication. But it's so different for Bernthal, like you said. It's not the Punisher. It's not like these hard asses that he plays. He plays such a nice, sweet man. That hair.
Yes, he does with a mustache.
Great. Love Bernthal. Everybody loves Bernthal.
Who doesn't love Bernthal?
Who the hell don't like Bernthal? So that was cool. And that was pretty much it. I watched a stupid movie called The Whammy? Double Whammy? Is that what it's called? I wrote down the title so I got it right. You ever heard of this? It's got Dennis Leary in it and Steve Buscemi, two people that you do know. And yeah, Double Whammy, 2002. And what happens is I know why this movie's been buried, I feel like, because it starts out with the premise about a fucking mass shooting at a fast food restaurant.
Oh.
This is a 02, so it's like
a comedy?
couple years. Yes. Yeah. So it looks even worse now, and it is a terrible film. It's god awful. So
The Whammy Burger.
yeah. Right. I think like 9/11 happened, and they kind of just dumped this thing out or something. I don't know. It's probably some weird story behind it, but it's a piece of shit anyway. So don't ever waste your time watching Double Whammy because it's hot garbage. Then I watched Permanent Midnight, which I hadn't seen in a long time. Is actually I enjoyed it even less this time for some reason. It's a little more campy than I remember.
Really
cheesy as far as like stories about hardcore drug addiction go. Doesn't hold up as well as some of the other things that have been done over the last 20 years. So
I remember it feeling very sanitized in that respect.
Yeah, it is. You know, the only funny thing is that the real life writer was based on something Stahl. I can't remember
Jerry
his full
Stahl.
name. Jerry Stahl, thanks. Ben Stiller plays Jerry Stahl, and he wrote on Alf. He was a writer on Alf, but they can't use Alf, so they make up this new character called Mr. Chompers. It looks just like Alf, except he's been stained green, like when they dye the river in Chicago for St. Patrick's Day. It's like, what? And he has an English accent. Hello, I'm Mr. Chompers.
Hello, Willie.
That part was funny. That was actually the funniest part was Mr. Chompers, like drug freakouts. And that's pretty much it. Also, on my show I do with Luke, my friend Luke, guest host from time to time. Luke on this show did the Blood Diner episode recently. Is it safe? He got really mad at me about the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I told him that I really liked the show, and he got super pissed, and we went on this like 20-minute discussion about how terrible it was. And
he got angry that you liked it.
Yeah, he was fired up. He was definitely like, dude, that show is so garbage. And I was like, wow, I guess I'm out of touch. Apparently, I didn't know it was by the Gilmore Girls creator, which I've never seen the Gilmore Girls.
I never have either, and I don't give a shit that it is. I mean, it's good entertainment. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I don't need the full 20-minute version here. But what was his beef?
I couldn't even catch it. That was the thing about Luke's rant sometimes. Like I couldn't even really quite understand what it was that bothered him about the show.
Is it that everyone else likes it? Is that the problem?
No, it might have been that. I don't know. It could have been formulaic and typical. I don't know. But either way, I still stand behind the show, and I recommend that. It was really enjoyable to see it. And season 4 comes out in February, which is what we talked about last time. We didn't know when the next season was coming.
Oh, that's good to know.
So,
that's good to know.
Yeah. So that'll be, I'm all caught up, ready to go.
Cool. I haven't mentioned it, but were you done? I'm sorry.
I'm done.
Okay. I'm also watching, I'm not ready to endorse it, even though I'm like 5 episodes in now, but I'm watching The Shrink Next Door.
I watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm into it a bit. I'm not like whoa, but I'm mildly into it.
That's how I felt after 2 episodes, and that's how I feel after 5 episodes, where I'm like, this is interesting work from both of these guys, Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell. It's cool seeing, them. This is a different kind of role for them. Catherine Hahn is, excellent, like always. But I'm just like, as I'm watching, I'm just like, man, I'm just not connecting to this at all. Like, I'm just not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's just,
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. I'm going to keep watching it. I'm going to keep watching it because there's only, I think, 8 episodes or something. But yeah, at this point, I wouldn't recommend anyone go out of their way if they were on the fence about it.
You can tell they spent a long time on mastering the accents. I will say that.
And the set design is fantastic. I mean, it's very immersive for the late 80s, early 90s.
Payphones. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
They do well with all that.
Mike, did you see that trailer for The Winning Time? The HBO.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. Holy, you read my mind, dude.
I thought of you immediately. I'm like, Mike is going to eat this shit up.
So
who the fuck is Jerry Buss? Is this like an actual story, or is it just like?
Yeah, Jerry Buss was the owner. He was the owner of the Lakers who started that whole Showtime thing when Magic Johnson became a Laker in the 80s. Yeah, and I didn't know I needed this in my life at all. Like it's a weird story to tell. It's a good basketball team for 10 years, which is in Hollywood, so it was glitzed and glamorized a bit more. But when I saw the trailer today, Eric, I was like, holy crap. I didn't know I needed this, but John C. Reilly is Dr. Jerry Buss. I'm fucking in. And Adrian Brody's playing Pat Riley. It's fantastic casting. I had no idea that this would ever be something. I never really thought I needed it, but I'm thoroughly excited about it coming out in March. Because Adrian Brody is one of the biggest, you all know the stories about Brody. He's so hardcore. He takes shit way too far in terms of his method acting most of the time. And Pat Riley is like the most hard-ass, tough, like takes everything too far in coaching. So it's like perfect casting in a way, even though he doesn't really look like him.
So that pretty much this project is why Dirty Sanchez broke up. You're following this Will Ferrell and Adam McKay feud story?
Yeah, I heard about this.
No, I didn't hear about this.
The dissolution of that production company came about because Will Ferrell was like telling McKay for years that he was born to play Jerry Buss. And McKay was like, I don't see it. And they split up. And then Will Ferrell found out via like Variety article that he had hired John C. Reilly, who's like his homeboy.
Yeah.
He was beyond pissed.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Man, Will Ferrell seems like the kind of guy that wouldn't be like that. I don't know him, obviously. But
yeah, but they were partners. I mean, they had a working, it's not just some dude doing that. It's not like you're just losing a role. I mean, like you tell your partner who's a producer and director for years that you want to play this role and you get some other dude to do it. That would hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely see the point. That's wild. I didn't know they had a falling out. That's too bad. I know that there's other thing too on HBO Max, this new Santa thing by Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman. Have you seen this? It's getting absolutely destroyed. And I watched one episode of it, and it's not very good.
Wait, it's a limited series? What is this?
It's like a limited holiday series on HBO Max. And
is it the 8-bit Christmas thing? Is it that?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, right?
I'm not sure. I know I've seen that advertised, but I haven't, dug in.
Oh no, 8-bit Christmas is something different. Sorry, that's something different. Anyways, it's the one on HBO Max. I forgot the title, but it's like stop motion stuff. So it's kind of like in the vein of some of those old time holiday programs. But it's got Sarah Silverman and Seth Rogen. Like they made this, and it's just terrible. And it's
3%.
Got like a
3%
on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I know Rotten Tomatoes doesn't know everything, but that's a really harsh score right now. So
I kind of want to watch it now.
Yeah, that's why I had to watch it, because I heard it was so bad. But there's also, I think, some political shit involved with this, where people are saying, if you like this show, you're a liberal. If you hate it, you're right wing. And it's
so it's getting bombed by the trolls.
Yes.
But now I feel like I have to be a good culture warrior and watch it and give it a 10 on IMDb.
Well, hey, have at it, man. I'll leave that to you, but just want to mention that. So, all right, well, there it is. That's what we've been watching recently. We love movies, and we hope you do too. Don't forget that you can email us. We love a good email.
But do we love checking our email? That's the real question.
Well, that's a different story. I don't know if we can comment on that publicly, but I think we do check our email at least once a week. And this week, no new emails. So if you want to send us one, want to talk about the holidays, you want to talk about film, you want to talk about your personal problems, email someone else. Okay? All right. So having said all that, it's time to get into the main event for this week's show. Oh, real quick, by the way, we're going to have a guest host in 2 weeks. I want to remind everybody of that. Derek from Pop Goes Your World, which is a great podcast. He'll be on in 2 weeks, and I do have his selection. I could reveal it at the end of the show, or we could just wait till next week, but I know what it's going to be, and I'm not happy about it. So,
Oh boy, that means that we probably will be happy about it.
I'm pretty sure, you'll be happy about it, and I don't know about Eric, but we'll find out.
All right, let's wait until next
Which
week.
Marvel movie is it?
Not a Marvel movie. Yeah,
okay.
I
That was my
like
guess,
Marvel movies.
Oh.
I like Marvel movies. Come
Just
on. Okay. Yeah. So the main event, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang 2005. Does it hold up? We're going to find out. Directed by Shane Black. Screen story by Shane Black, which is a unique title. I put that in the title credit there, like screen
extra.
story and screenplay.
Does he get like an extra bonus if he bills himself as a screenplay? You know what I mean? Like, that was weird.
I know. That's why I thought it was odd. And it's
No
produced by
one's gonna-
Joel Silver. That's always something to be weary of. But stars Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer, and Megan Monaghan. And this is a film that has Corbin Burnson in it too. So
Michelle.
Oh,
did I say Megan?
Monaghan.
I did say
Monaghan.
Megan. Megan Monaghan. I wonder who Megan
Michelle
Monaghan is.
Monaghan.
Hey, Megan Monaghan, are you out there? Give me a
How am I
call.
not
But no.
Michelle?
How am I not Megan Monaghan?
How am I not Michelle?
How am I
Michelle
not Megan
Monaghan,
Monaghan?
yes,
Okay.
from season 1 of True Detective, that's her. So, all right, Travis Roy, have you ever seen this movie before? Take us back in time to the first time you saw Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I know I rented it, like from a Blockbuster. I think it may even have been like my last gasp of working there. I'm not sure. This came out in 2005. It's possible. I think it was right around when I stopped working there. It was 25. And I watched it once and I liked it, and I didn't watch it again until last night. So, which is good. This is a good thing to do. Like, cause you watch a movie and you like it, but then, 20 or 15 years goes by or whatever. Like, it's good to check in and be like, is this actually good or not? Well, this is the premise of the show. So it was good to check. It was good to check back in on it. So I really had kind of memory hold it in some ways.
Oh, okay. By the way, the HBO Max new Christmas thing is called Santa Inc. Santa Incorporated.
And ink.
So starring
heard of
Sarah
it at all.
Silverman
Heads up.
and Seth Rogen.
All right.
So yeah, there you go. It also has a 1.1 on IMDb. I've never seen a rating of 1.1, so now it's like this is just out of control. I've some of the shittiest movies ever still have like a 3. So this is probably getting out of hand.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it now.
A talking cat, I believe, has a much higher rating.
Seriously, it does. A talking cat does have
A talking cat.
a talking cat exclamation point question mark
Cat?
does have a higher rating than I want to say it's like around 4 or something.
I know, right? This is just out of control. All right. Anyway, Eric, you chose this movie, so take us back to that glorious moment when the first time you saw it.
That was at the State Theater in Ann Arbor. I was anticipating this for about a year for a couple reasons. I was on a huge Val Kilmer high after the Salton Sea and Spartan.
Yeah, those were.
So I'm like, he's back. He's back. I'm going to be in the theater. And then Shane Black, I hadn't seen anything from since The Long Kiss Goodnight, and that was almost a 10-year hiatus. So I'm like, he's back. Finally, Hollywood let him in. His buddy Joel Silver called him, like, let's do it again. So I was pumped. Saw it in the theater. Came out super happy and had a great time. Haven't seen it since.
By the way, there is a movie called Kiss Kiss Finger Bang. I just want to let you guys know that. Starring Anton Yelkin and Buck Henry.
No.
Yeah.
What?
I'm just
Really?
typing in. I just typed in Kiss Kiss to the Rotten Tomatoes search and it came up.
When did that come out?
2015. So not too long ago.
Shit. It must be maybe it's a Funny or Die thing. Is it a short?
I don't know. I might be a case. Yeah, maybe it is. I guess anything could pop up. You're right. But yeah, it doesn't even have a rating. It's just a title with a sultry poster of Anton Yelkin and a woman. So that sounds funny enough. But yes, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is a movie I'd heard about, and I heard the title, and I often mix it up with Kiss of the Spider Woman for some reason, and The Long Kiss Goodnight. I don't know why I kept doing that. They all have kiss in it. I get that, but
two of them are
different
Shane
films.
Black, so that makes sense.
That does make sense, yes. But first time I watched it was like last year, and I remember like turning it off after about 40 minutes. I just thought it was like, I don't know, it like just rubbed me the wrong way. I remember having a icky, like negative feeling, like this is lame, this is dumb. Turn it off, and that's what happened. But I definitely sat down and watched it in its entirety without skipping a single second of it. So I'll have more to say about that. Yeah, I gave it its fair due this time. That's what we do on the show. We keep it real, right?
We do.
I didn't look up
fast forward guarantee.
That's right. I did not look up the score. Did anybody else look up the IMDb rating?
I did not.
Yeah, I did.
All right, I'm gonna say.
Go ahead. What do you think?
I feel like people like this movie. It's got some heavy hitters in it. I'll say it's a 7-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's pretty liked. I'm not gonna put it. I don't think it's quite at that level. I'll say. I think I've said 6-9 like the last 4 or 5 episodes. I'll say 6-9 on this episode too.
Huh.
Yeah, double check it, but I think it's a 7.5.
Wow, you are correct.
Yeah.
7.5. Okay,
Lofty territory.
Yeah,
that is lofty. That's even more
Rare
than I thought. Yeah, Rare Earth. That was Luke's uncle's.
Rare Earth. That's true. Yeah.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on Rotten Tomatoes, 86% from the critics. That's an excellent score, right?
Yeah.
87 from the audience. That's one of the closest scores you can get, 86 to 87. That is very tight, yes. As far as the critical reviews and commentary, well, there's a lot of people chiming in on this movie. It's popular enough as wait a minute, is this true? Yeah, there's many more pages than the last one.
Prime Dessen territory.
Prime Goody Coons.
Goody Coons or Dessen might be chiming in here.
Let's start off with Christopher Orr from The Atlantic. We've never done The Atlantic. Why not? The plot of the film is almost willfully convoluted, but it's also largely beside the point, an excuse for quite a few good scenes, and most of them equal parts homage and subversion.
Yeah. It's film noir. Every single film noir is exhausting and convoluted as fuck, but it doesn't really matter.
Right. I mean, he may as well just said it's a film noir.
Yeah.
Just left it at
So it's like one of those where you have a window of Wikipedia open and you're like on the plot thing to try to like keep in touch with what the fuck is happening.
David Anson of Newsweek said, jumpy and ironic. Downey is a quicksilver delight. Wow. And whatever that means. And Kilmer is funny as the gay Perry.
Oh, is he gay in this movie? Does he play a gay character?
What? I think I missed that. You can't even tell. I don't know. They didn't talk about it much. Yeah, there should have been more discussion about his sexuality, and they just didn't do that. So
more gay puns could have helped.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that because it feels like that's part of the story with this movie. No Goody Coots, as far as I can tell. I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know if he was working later on or desperately seeking Dessen. That's what we're doing here. Come on, Dessen
Thompson.
Where are you? Oh, Gary Thompson. Who are you? Go away.
Yay!
Here we go. Okay, got him. Woohoo!
All right.
Dessen Thompson said in November of 2005.
Okay.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is the first movie since 1994's Pulp Fiction, not just to understand movie violence as a pop cultural form, ... but to play it like a virtuoso violinist.
Wow. That's high praise.
Yeah.
That's one of his more involved reviews that we've read.
It's also, I think, one of his most, that's pretty, I mean, he's usually a lot more analytical instead of like effusive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And he's always understated. This is
that's a high praise coming from him.
What does that mean, though? Okay, so the movie violence as a pop cultural form, like it understands it as well as Pulp Fiction. What does that mean?
That he liked how they displayed the violence. That the violence is, I mean, there's a lot. This is a very violent movie. But
fingers get chopped off.
Right. Well, and there's worse that happens to one character in particular whose face we never see, but she has the worst life possible.
Yes, it's awful.
There is I'm talking about the younger sister if you're confused. I forget where I was going with that.
No,
Violence, pop culture phenomenon of violence.
It's still fun. It's a fun movie. Like it's trying to be a fun movie. Like it's the
like Pulp
violence
Fiction is a fun movie.
Right,
And
exactly.
this is 2005, so unless Destin missed every Elmore James and Steven Soderbergh film since Pulp Fiction, there's been plenty that were doing this kind of same violence is fun, tongue in cheek, people getting shot in the face is funny.
Yeah, I'm
That's
inclined
true.
to agree with
Bizarre.
you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I want to read one negative because I didn't have any. This is
caught
from
him on a
Stephen
good day.
Ray.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
They caught
we
us
did.
on a good day.
That must have been what it was. Stephen Ray of the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Kill your own kind.
While Downey's rumpled. Oh boy, I don't even know this word. Insouciance? Insouciance?
Insouciance, I think. Does that mean, like,
INSOUCIANCE.
like to be inebriated? What does that mean? I've read the word before. Now I got to look it up.
Okay. Well, while
Go ahead.
Downey's rumpled insouciance jibes with the movie's jaded, narcissistic tone, it's a hard
Indifference.
tone. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, so he's indifferent. That makes sense. It's a hard tone to take for 100 minutes or so. Thumbs down.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's the other side of it.
I mean, we gotta be thankful for this movie. There's a lot of buzz that this is the movie that caused that this is why he played Tony Stark. This is there's a lot of I don't know how much of it is speculation, how much of it's confirmed, but I've certainly heard it many times over the years that this is why he was cast as Tony Stark.
This is the role he played.
Yeah,
So well.
that he played this role, and then like Feige and Favreau and like other people, like it was a good 5 years after this movie came out, but they're like, look, he's back, he's been back. This is the kind of like witty whatever character that he can play. This is what we want for this character. So I mean, I don't know if that connection is true or not, but I'm certainly willing to believe it.
And it wasn't hard for him to get. I mean, remember like the early 2000s, he's coming off U.S. Marshals in Gothica. So his wife was Joel Silver's assistant, and she had recommended Downey for this role when they were looking at Hugh Grant. I think they were looking at.
Don't forget Wonder Boys. I mean, he did do that. That was 2000. Yeah. So
hey, we were fans, but like the studios were. Oh hell no.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. Yeah.
Persona non grata still.
That's a great point. You look at this movie afterwards, Good Night and Good Luck, The Scanner Darkly, Zodiac, and then Iron Man. So, it's, I think people...
Then Iron Man is still Iron Man.
This, and I think The Singing Detective also, I think a lot of people saw that. I mean, like in the industry, nothing in don't say industry. A lot of people saw it, and I think that also didn't hurt.
Well, it's classic Downey in this movie. At least this is what I come to expect from him. And, he's just always got to be sharp-tongued and quick-witted. And that's just what he does. That's his thing. And he does it very well in this movie. And now the narrator part of this film is made fun of as well. You said this is making fun of in a ton of noir films, which is a narrator is a classic part of that. But a narrator is a part of all kinds of films as well. And they make fun of themselves. He stops the movie. He lets you know he's the narrator. He says hello to you, breaks the fourth wall quite quickly. This movie straddles a line of its being aware of what it is, while at the same time trying to make fun of other movies, but thinking that it might be doing it in a better way. It's a dangerous line it walks, and I'm not sure that it always works.
Wow. I think that it definitely homages and respects its own genre. I think it's wait for myself to catch up. I think it's making fun of just Hollywood in movie making.
Oh, sure.
In 2005 in general, as opposed to
the end credits,
its own genre. Yeah,
the last scene before it goes to black. I mean, that's yes, that is so stupid. Thank you. Sorry we said too many F words to the Midwest. That was funny. But it's like, why is this like this? You could have made this movie without that last scene being in there. And they also talk about the fact that when everybody they bring all the dead people back at the end when he's in the hospital bed, Val Kilmer's in the wheelchair. It's like,
Abraham Lincoln.
I know the studio wants us to not end on a downer. And that made me laugh. That's a really funny line. They're making fun of studios in a movie that's a studio film. I like that. But sometimes I feel like it's too much at certain points, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm undecided.
I mean, I like meta. I like a little meta humor. I do agree that some of it maybe doesn't work, some of it does, but that last scene does kind of need to be there because otherwise, what the fuck does the Harry character do when this is all over? Go back to Robin shit in New York? Like, you have to like have some sort of wrap up for that character where he's like no longer a total loser. He's at least going to be, Gay Perry's lapdog in his office or whatever.
Gay Perry's lapdog. Well, let's talk about that then. So, yes, he's a gay character. Okay.
Is he gay?
Did you know?
Is he gay, Perry?
Did you hear the news? He's gay.
He used to be straight, but now he's gay. I think the movie made him that way.
Yeah.
It's just relentless.
Cringe.
It never ends. It never ends.
Have a nice gay, or like, what is that pun he says?
Don't quit your gay job.
Don't quit your gay job. We're gonna film this line
in like 2005. Like, that's a little late in the game for some of this, for all of it. I mean, like, it's just okay, so you want to introduce this gay character and make him cool, and like, all right, that you can definitely do that. Do you have to make every joke that he makes about his own sexuality? Which, I mean, I have known a gay guy or two to have done that. Plenty, that's true. But still, it's just like it's not just Gay Perry. It's every character that he interacts with. They're making fun of him too. So it's like, if your only gay character in a movie is and their sexuality is a source of jokes throughout the entire movie, you've got a big fucking problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a difference between other people making those jokes, maybe because they're uncomfortable, and that character making his own jokes about himself, because Shane Black, be it his ignorance or him not being that comfortable writing this character, it comes off as the script trying to make us comfortable with the fact that Gay Perry is gay, as opposed to him being confident about it and it not being this giant deal.
Yeah, this is what happens with too much of that being overdone. Is there's actually the scene where they're being, well, not they, just Downey's characters. Harry's having his balls shocked by and being tortured. Yeah. And the way that Perry gets out of it is by saying that a homophobe never checks there because he has a gun inside of his dick pants there. And that part, I believe, it actually made fun of homophobes that wouldn't actually pat him down entirely. I actually thought that was okay, but when you mix it all in with all the other jokes, it doesn't hold any water. The rest of it sucks. It's like, okay, great. So you can make an occasional joke or reference about a homophobe being bad at patting people down, which would work, but then you have to say, oh, look at him, look how sexy he is, or yeah, I'm gay. Every conversation in this entire film that I have, any dialogue, will have to eventually come back to the fact that I am gay. That's too much.
Are you going to sit through your friend, or maybe, someone you're familiar with and are getting to like, are you going to sit through his torture just so you can set up this gag with the gun? How long has he had it trained on him?
I guess he's trying to get him closer because it's probably like a really weak caliber, but I don't know. You're in trouble early in this movie because Larry Miller shows up for one fucking scene, and it's just to be confused that gay is a thing. He's just like, wait a minute, I don't know, gay is gay. And it's like, that's like, oh fuck, this is how you're starting your movie and how you're introducing Gay Perry. Like,
it said Larry Miller on the credits, and there was no Larry Miller.
Well, since Shannon Sossaman too, which I know that's why we end up watching this movie. We get to see her run by in a wig and then lay down on the floor, and that's it.
There's a lot of cardinal sins in this movie. That is by far number one. You waste Shannon Sossaman.
I know that's an issue for you, Eric. Yes, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so we get it. The gay stuff was way overdone. I think we all agree on that. But so beyond that, the dialogue though is pretty damn good. I know that it's got the Downey wit and sharpness that he always does, but Val Kilmer is great in this movie. He's really he's his equal in my opinion.
I agree.
And I loved it. I think he's one of my favorite. He's probably my favorite character in the movie. Beside all the dumb gay jokes that are unnecessary, everything else he talks about, and how stupid he thinks Harry is and stuff. I really got a few laughs out of Val in this one.
Yeah, his dry witticisms definitely abound, but it's funny. I mean, like, Yeah, again, when he's not focused on being gay, when he's like, I've got to go, and he finally like pushes Harry off his car
He's
so
trying
he
to
can drive
console.
off.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's funny.
that's definitely, there's definitely some good stuff there, but again, like I think that he delivers a lot of really good lines, and it's funny and all that stuff, but the character is I don't know, I feel like we never really get to know Perry at all. We get, I mean, maybe we feel like, maybe I feel like we know Harry because he's the narrator, so I'm biased towards him, but Perry, for being the second lead, is kind of one-dimensional.
Yep, I agree. This was first time I ever saw Michelle Monaghan in a big time role for me.
Yeah.
And she's great in this. She's equal to the task of everybody else in terms of her comedic talents. And that's pretty much it, though. I mean, like, she is also a fucked up person, which I like. And the movie dives into that part, this is one of the parts of the movie I really like, is that her obsession that Harry has for her. Hey, she tells him directly, I'm not a good person. I am not what you think I am. And it really kind of tears down some of this, like, hey, in movies, these people love each other and they're perfect for each other. And they just say that over and over again. But these are complicated people who would do bad things and are fucked up. And they do a good job of telling us that. And I commend him for doing that.
I hear you. But I mean, set aside the fact that like he doesn't recognize this girl that he was obsessed with all through high school. Because what, 18 years has passed, so he doesn't recognize her at all. But like the movie goes out of its way. I mean, like, again, like I'm sorry, I gotta get back to the sister and the molestation and the incest thing. Like the movie goes out of its way to like introduce this early on as a plot point, and like, so obviously this girl is like fucked up. Like she's got some the older sister, I mean, Harmony, like she's fucked up too. And they make light of the fact that this 15, 16-year-old girl fucks the whole high school apparently, except for him. And then like he kicks her out of bed for like something that she did when she was 15. Like, I don't know, like it's just like there's a lot going on where I'm like, this is all being dealt with so casually, and like it's funny, but it's like I don't know, like I don't know. A lot of it made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah. And Shane Black has written some really strong women character. I fucking love The Long Kiss Goodnight. Gina Davis is out of control in it. But to expect me to laugh at those plot points, a dead woman getting pissed on, I'm supposed to laugh at, and then this fucking awful dead corpse of a woman. Like, I don't know where this is coming from here. Even in old school pot boilers, the women is never treated like a causality or a joke.
It's a clumsy movie. It's a movie about, I like this movie because dumb things happen and they go out of their way to not just make it all cookie cutter and organized. If you were pissing and you turned and saw a dead body, it would freak you the fuck out. You didn't mean to piss on her at all.
But they're going to steer your whole body. Anyway, I mean, we can set that aside. It's a gross gag that didn't really need to happen in the movie. But
is it supposed to be a gag? Because I didn't see it that way, I guess.
What was it? What else? What other purpose did it serve?
I just thought it was part of the scenery. He just happens to be pissing while he's looking at it. I didn't think it was. If we were supposed to laugh, I never laughed.
So I mean, it wasn't just that. Like, what about when they tossed the girl's body from the roof and she hits like the dumpster on the way down? Like, I just feel like there's like a lot of like casual, like young girls' bodies and deaths is just dealt with really casually throughout this movie in a way that I don't know. Maybe I'm a fucking.
Well, this is one of the most cynical movies. This is a massively cynical film. So
I do agree that Monaghan, I think that she does hold her own. I think that she's a delight in the movie. I think that she is one of the stronger points of the movie. I like watching her on screen. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that maybe was supposed to be funny about it, it just missed me.
Yeah, she, in my opinion, this cute spunkiness reminds me a lot of Emma Stone before even Emma Stone became a thing. I don't know how they're kind of mishandling her career. In my opinion, she shows up in these dumb Mission Impossible. She's fucking fantastic in this and funny and really good, holding her own against these two titans. I think she's fucking awesome. She's one of my favorite parts in the movie. Yeah. It's just the character is like kind of like a who cares. This entire story is very uninteresting to me. I think that's my biggest issue with it. Like, I never really care about what's happening.
I mean, are we ever? I mean, like we're not supposed like again like because of the noirness of it. I don't think we're supposed to care so much as we are to be entertained, right? I mean, like I don't know how invested we're expected to be most of the time. A lot of what happens seems to happen out of convenience, which is like convenience for the story, which I always have an issue with. Like when Downey Jr. is like yelling up at these like he's a criminal. He's not going to yell at these masked men like, "Hey, we've got a girl down here." Like he would know what the fuck is up.
Or when he's escaping the robbery that he's doing at the store, and he just walks in to sit down to do a read for a movie. Ridiculous.
Or when Val Kilmer shoots underwater through a trunk into a woman's head, I'm like, woof. Just physics just goes right out the window on this one, which is fine. It is an action movie, but I mean, like there's definitely a lot of stuff where since it is meta, they could kind of play with it and be like more, and they could I think they could have leaned a little bit more into the unreliable narrator that they have here, because like they could explain away a lot of the these kind of things that I mean, not the misogyny, frankly, or the homophobia, but as far as some of the plot points, I think they could have it could have been more easily forgiven because of the deliberate sloppiness of what the narration was.
I didn't really buy that Harry was ever any type of thief, especially not like a successful one for any period of time.
No. No, I didn't either.
Yeah,
also,
that's just kind of like thrown in there, in my opinion.
Armed robbery for a toy store at night, and then some old lady's gonna kill someone over a toy store. I'm like, oh man, New York's rough.
Yeah, that's not the only time too. In LA, the hot dog stand owner murders that guy like angrily. So it happens twice.
He couldn't wait to find someone to kill that
goddamn animals.
I keep this gun here every day, hoping there's gonna be some reason for him to kill someone. I did like that when Downey Jr. kills someone, like he can't look at Mr. Mustard when he's killing him. I thought that was so well done, and he's really so despondent and so like palpably upset by it. And then he kills another man like a half an hour later in the movie, and he's just down for a minute, but that was about it. It was like, whoop.
Hey, once you break the seal, dude, that's just the way it goes. He's on the phone telling Perry how I killed the guy, and he's like drops the phone in absolute anguish. Anyways, I could kill people now. It's good. And he accidentally murders that guy who's on his knees, and he's like, "Oh, I thought it was a 1 in 8 chance."
He shoots an unarmed man in the face and is over it like in an instant.
This movie relies on some. You're right. Hardcore shit to get a laugh that I think they are expecting. So now I see your point now about the urine on the body. Now that I think about it from that point of view, I didn't think it was supposed to be funny, but you're right that maybe they were thinking people would laugh. Not funny.
So. Well, and then even if they're not laughing in that moment, there's still the back and forth between Kilmer and Downey while he's in the car, where he's like, "What, you peed on her?" And like it's like that's a funny little moment too. I mean, it is kind of funny, but like it's so like again, like you just these are like innocent girls dying throughout this movie, murdered by like rich and powerful men in twisted and awful ways. Like, like, I don't know, man. Like, kind of goofy.
Wow.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot just by being frivolous, which I think this movie escapes a lot of criticism just because of its frivolity, especially for 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's some truth to that. I want to ask you guys: are you big fans of Shane Black's work? Like, do you think he's a good director? I think I don't know. I think he's real hit or miss half the time. So there seems to be some hardcore Shane Black fans out there. I was just curious.
I'm a fucking huge Shane Black fan. I love The Last Boy Scout. I love The Long Kiss Goodnight. The Last Action Hero is my favorite action movie. Lethal Weapon, his writing on Predator. It's Monster Squad. I don't know what there is. I love The Nice Guys. I love all of it. I haven't seen
that. Wasn't
Predator,
bad. But this kind of reminds me of The Nice Guys a lot, actually.
Yeah, I like the Nice Guys. I think that was a good movie. I love Monster Squad. I love the original Predator. Lethal Weapon movies are good, most of them. I like a lot of his stuff. I'm not Last Action Hero was fucking great. I agree. I love that movie too. Overall I'd say I'm a fan, but I feel like I'm a fan of 80s, early 90s, 80s, 90s Black. I mean,
Yeah.
I liked Iron Man 3. A lot of people, hold that one to the fire and really don't care for it. But I mean,
Yeah.
and I would also put it on the bottom ledge of the Marvel tier. But still, I mean, it's a Marvel movie, so I like it. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So this is, I think maybe at least, I'm not to speak for you guys. I might be being a little harsh about some of this. I mean, I think I'm right to feel disturbed by a lot of it now, but I do think that this is a lot of deliberate Black comedy, which I enjoy Black comedy under most circumstances.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you gotta, when you look at this guy's career, they give him $4 million for The Long Kiss Goodnight. It fucking tanks. Not his fault. The movie is good because the audience didn't show up. Hollywood completely ostracizes him, and he's out of it. So when he does come back for his own directorial effort, it is just a scathing impasse on just basically Hollywood and studio politics. So I respect the script, but the execution has me down. You called it kind of exhausting because you turned it off the first time you watched it, Mike. Like, what were you thinking, like, after that first hour where you're like, this is just kind of irritating? I could picture you sitting in your house being like, I'm kind of annoyed by all this shit.
That's a great point. I'm so glad you brought that up because I forgot about that for a minute. Again, watching this through the first 40 minutes, I was like, I was just like, this is so full of itself, and it's trying to be smarmy and winking at the camera shit. Yeah, it just comes right at you with a serious attitude that, hey, we know who we are and we're not like the others. And I guess it kind of, but it just didn't, like, the characters weren't drawing me in at all. That was the part of the problem for the first 40 minutes. But eventually, somehow, I think I got a lot more into it when Perry and Harry are getting more deeply involved in their situation. I just didn't see a spark between the Monahan character and the Downey character. It did not interest me like this past love thing with it trying to be so smarmy in a Black comedy. Like they're trying to mix this love in too, and it didn't buy it for me. But somehow towards the later part of the movie, I was like involved and into it. Something changed. I'm not sure what it was.
I do think that this movie, for following a lot of the tropes of film noir and playing with those tropes successfully, it reminds me a little bit of The Girl Next Door, which we did recently, in that it does very much take you places that other movies in that genre won't go, like the fucking finger getting severed out of nowhere, and that being like a recurrent, like there's no reason for that to happen, but once it does happen, like it becomes plot points and stuff. Like it becomes like it doesn't just disappear. There's things that, or like him like passing out in the back of the car, and you know what I mean. Like there's just like the things that happen, I think are fairly unexpected. Sometimes just outright like unbelievable, but it's fine. Again, it's a movie. But I think that, I mean, not as boldly as The Girl Next Door, but I do think that it does take some twists and turns that are unique.
Yeah. I'm watching it, and I'm kind of picturing Shane Black sitting in front of his word processor being like, all right, fuck, now what? How about he gets his finger cut off and he's got to deal with that for like a half hour? Yeah, that'll buy me like 30 minutes.
And she can drop him off at the hospital and not go in with him twice.
And that's the thing. Like, but you nailed it. You can do film noir comedies. Look at Fargo and The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
But you have to give a fuck about the characters, or else you're not going to be laughing at the circumstances.
Yeah.
And so much is riding on just, do you like Robert Downey Jr.'s
That's
shtick
it. Exactly. You nailed it.
Right. Like this is all his shtick. I mean, like for all of the meta and the music and the playing with genre and stuff that they're doing, like this is relying very heavily on not just Robert Downey Jr., but on cranking him up and letting him go, which no one had really done for a while. And people, it turns out, really fucking like when he's cranked up and let go, which is, I think, why people feel strongly about this movie. People just like Robert Downey Jr.
If Rob Morrow played Harry Lockhart, we all would have turned it off.
Or Rob Morrow. he showed up on the most recent episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, or one of the most, and was quite good. But no, you're totally right. I mean,
no offense, Rob, but
no, you're right. Like Patrick Wilson shows up, and we're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, this was Shane Black's first director's effort.
Was it?
Yeah. He wrote everything else, but this was the first time he sat in the main chair.
All right.
And you really couldn't. I mean, for a first-time director, I know he'd already been a veteran of Hollywood. I think he does a really solid job. It's got good pacing. That I always complain about pace a lot, but this movie's paced pretty darn well. There's not a lot of lulls in it. Do you guys think otherwise?
No, I agree. I think you're right. I think this it doesn't feel like a freshman effort.
No, definitely not.
God damn it. You know what it reminded me a lot of, Travis? And I'm going to get some pushback on from you.
What?
It reminded me a lot of the Under the Silver Lake.
Oh, well, okay. I could see that. I mean, it's LA Noir, so that makes sense.
Like slacker protagonist gets involved in convoluted plot in LA and like funny shit happens.
I thought, but I gotta say, I like Under the Silver Lake quite a bit more. But for a lot of the same reasons, for playing with the LA film noir genre, for going in places I wouldn't expect it to go, for being surprisingly funny with a kind of like with a character that's got some major personality flaws. Now that you say that, I'm not going to push back at all. I think there's a lot of similarities to be made. The first movie that I thought of watching it though was Sunset Boulevard with that pretty obvious homage at the beginning. He's standing over the pool, narrating and all that. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I know where we are right now.
Also, The Hard Way with James Woods.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I thought of that too. I totally thought of that too.
Wow, The Hard Way.
The Hard Way.
I hadn't seen that movie since I watched it at Corey's house in 1991 on VHS. That was awesome.
I've seen it so many fucking times.
I haven't seen it since. Wow.
I've seen it so many times. I got a decent Stephen Lang impression, but I won't do it.
It's a Michael
now.
J. Fox movie that never gets mentioned. That's pretty wild.
It's a good one.
Good call. That's an excellent reference. Did you know that Harrison Ford was going to play Gay Perry? Or they wanted him to?
Really?
Can you imagine that?
I actually kind of can, and it also makes sense a little bit. I mean, because I think Ford was just kind of starting to get to the point where that was right around when he did like Firewall, I think, and that kind of shit, where like his career was starting to really stall out, kind of like Val Kilmer's had, and he needed some kind of shift in terms of how, the kind of movies that he was doing, which he didn't really do. He just kind of pulled back and like, I'm going to show up every now and then and break a leg every time I make a movie.
What lies beneath?
Well, that was a bit of a turn. That was a bit of a turn. For him,
okay.
But that was 20 years ago.
That would have been this would have been a different film in my opinion, but you kind of talked me into it as well. It would make sense why he'd want to do that and why the studios want him, because he's Harrison Ford. But the one other thing I want to mention about this is this is an LA movie, and I guess I get bothered sometimes when movies are like so LA. Now I know this movie is also making fun of LA too, so I do appreciate some of that. But I don't know why that bothers me, but it's like LA, Hollywood. There's a whole world outside of LA, you know that, and it's a small point. It's a small point. But it bothers me.
Well, no, you're right. The movie acts like all that matters is New York and LA, and then there's like one joke about Midwesterners not being able to handle swear words. Like, dude, like I know a lot of Midwesterners. We are Midwesterners. We swear constantly. So
yeah, fucking A, we do. All three of us.
Fuck. Shit.
Fuck
balls,
it.
Cock.
Fuck you.
I don't know.
But it's a small point. So
a gay guy and a gay private detective in LA is like so hush hush. Like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Like, part of me thinks that maybe Val Kilmer was trying to play the role as if he was trying to be more masculine around other people, but another part of me actually thinks Val is a little bit stiff in this role. I like the lines and stuff, but he's a little bit stiff for me in this. I might have preferred someone with a little more spunk.
I see it opposite of that.
I fucking love Val Kilmer, but I don't know, he just is a little stiff for me.
I see what you're saying, but the fact that he's a gay character, and the fact that he is so stiff, I actually commend them for that, because it's so fucking easy for these people to draw up these gay characters as being, flamboyant and all that stuff. So it's not like, hey, I bow down before you and give you all of my love for doing that. But damn it, at least they just showed a gay character as someone who's just very reserved. He's a reserved dude.
How about, what did you think, or what did you How do you feel about the end when Perry limps into the old man's bedroom with a gun
Yeah.
and then smacks the old man across the face a couple times and then leaves? Like, how are we supposed to feel about that scene? Or how did you feel about the scene? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I thought the same thing you thought. He had the gun in there, but he decides it's better to just smack him around and let him know that people know that he is a scumbag and he has to live with it.
The character hints earlier of an abusive past. He says his father used to beat him in Morse code.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of those tongue-in-cheek things. So if you were to show me maybe 2 or 3 scenes of just that character living his own life instead of just this one time at the very end, he gets his kind of his own scene, it would have made more of an impact.
That's a good point. There's every other scene that he's in this movie. It's because Robert Downey Jr. is in the scene.
Yeah.
That's the only time that we get alone time with Perry, really. And what he does is like this weird half measure where he doesn't kill the guy, and but he beats him, and it's like, well, I don't know, dude. I mean, yeah, he's a molester, but now you're beating up a man in hospice. Like what? I don't know. Like it's like, just fucking shoot him. I'd rather you shoot him. I'd rather you shoot the old defenseless man in the face than punch him in his face.
Well, you're a different bird. I will say that. Okay,
I'm a wild child.
I mean, the guy's a scumbag. We get it. Doesn't kill him. It does seem odd. In fact, the whole like closing of this movie is just kind of clunky. And I know, like you said, they had to have those scenes, but it's just like, okay.
No, it's clunky.
It's
okay.
Yeah, it's clunky. But like all of this like fourth wall stuff, especially that end credits, like fun get, it seems very TV to me. Like I can picture like like Seinfeld end credits, like one last stinger before and I think it kind of thinks that there's like no one has ever broken the fourth wall. No one's ever fucked with narration. People have been doing that since Sunset Boulevard when Joe Gillis is talking about how he's looking at himself dead. Like this is nothing new.
Yes. And this really bothers me. It's not a big deal probably to a lot of people because it's a fucking movie. But the ridiculous way that Magical Harry suddenly kills everyone by hanging from the corpse of a fucking human being from the overpass on a freeway with point blank precision shots. I'm like, this is jump the shark, man. I mean, I know you guys did the fourth wall and you were having fun out here, but this is ridiculous. This is beyond a Lethal Weapon parody. It's absurd.
He goes from like in shock to where he can't shoot anyone to like he's fucking Jason Bourne here, and like he's dropping onto the roof, he's spinning around, he's shooting this guy, he's shooting that guy. Like he
can't be ignored. That cannot be ignored.
All of a sudden he's a trained killer, and it's like, well, where did this guy come from?
And it's not good for the arc either. If you're starting out as a thief and an immoral person, to wind up as a trained, executed, confident, and joyful killer is fucked.
I know they're trying to go harken back to the beginning where they show him and the magical thing as kids, and Harmony's the girl in the box. He's a magician, right? Well, look, he finally fulfilled his destiny of being a magician with a gun, and he saved Harmony, who's saying the same lines that she says at the beginning of the movie as a child, like, "Oh, save me from this plate."
Also,
you really try to force this, Black. It doesn't work.
Did parents in the 70s often let their kids play with chainsaws?
Yes, they did, and they still beat them instantly for crying. For laughs. Yeah, it's supposed to be funny too. It's like, man, I'd like black comedy again, but you could still do some fucked up shit without it being like too fucked up to not be funny. But I don't know why they lost me when he was hanging from that body. It really bothered me.
That was a bathroom break moment without pause for me.
That was a climax of the movie, Eric.
I went to the bathroom. I didn't even hit pause.
Wow. Should we mention Corbin Burnson at all? He's in this movie.
I was just gonna say, like, what dirt did he have on some producers, especially Joel Silver, to get this role?
I think they just needed someone who looked decrepit now, who they had footage of from before.
Yeah, what was that from? I kept obsessing over that for like a half hour.
What was he on? Hill Street Blues? What was he on?
L.A. Law.
Yeah,
but that was a lawyer show. I was like, what is this movie? I got to find this footage. Mike the Hammer.
No, you don't. I did part of me was bothered. Part of me was like, okay, it's film noir. Every single character that's introduced throughout the movie has a role to play, from Flicka to Corbin Burnson, like to people that end up as corpses. That was something also happening.
Oh my God. Okay. We've been doing this. Anything else, guys? We're almost to that point on the show.
Larry Fishburne voiced that dumbass cartoon bear that I eat fish heads. What do I know?
Oh, really?
Really?
That was Larry Fishburne? You know, the last line of this movie is "I suck the heads off fish."
Yeah,
that was Larry Fishburne. That is, I wrote that down. It's the last line of the movie. I suck the heads off fish.
Yeah.
Hey, did you catch the ringtone in this movie?
Yeah, it happened once or twice.
So that was Harry's ringtone, right?
Yeah.
Were they trying to say in a really cliched Hollywood, know nothing, ballless way that like Harry is a closet homosexual?
Oh, I didn't think about it like that.
What was the ringtone?
I Will Survive, like Gloria Gaynor's, like it's basically like YMCA or
I know the song. I just couldn't remember what it was in the movie. That wasn't Perry's?
Yeah, maybe it was Perry's phone, actually. Yeah. He takes it out of Perry's pocket when she calls the last time when they're laying on the overpass. It's inconsequential, but
yeah,
I shoved it down my throat. It is an eye roller. I agree. Should
we make the rounds?
Yeah, let's make the rounds. Eric, you chose this movie. Lead us off, buddy.
Yeah, I did, man. I liked it back in the day, mostly because I missed Robert Downey Jr. being where he belongs on the big screen, and I loved Val Kilmer. Plus, I missed Shane Black. And I was proud of Hollywood for taking a chance, even though it's a $15 million budget, on this type of material. Never see that nowadays because it wouldn't make any money. And Shane Black's films never make money.
You just referenced Under the Silver Lake.
Well, that's David Robert. But that's like unless you have like $1 million budget, like Mitchell.
Okay.
I mean, the title "Kiss Kiss Bang Bang," unless you don't know, it's an in joke started by Pauline Kael about how like dumb movie audiences, all they want from their movies is kiss, kiss, bang, bang, kiss the girl, shoot somebody. And when you strip away the like slick cleverness of this movie, it's basically just that and nothing more. Fast food, romance, cheap, glossy action, but smug bickering and like gotcha banter that tries to masquerade as meta and meaningful. But, you know, I just don't know what to say here. For me, it doesn't hold up. In 2021, it was kind of refreshing in 2005, but when you step back and look back, I can't really promote the film right now.
Okay then. Well, there it is. Straight from your mouth. Travis, you want to go next?
Sure. There's a scene in this movie where where this girl says that she's an actor, and for like a half a second, you see her topless getting then beheaded by a werewolf. I respect this movie for having that kind of cutaway. I think the movie needed more cutaways like with werewolves.
Sure.
In fact, had there been more werewolves in this movie, I bet I would have really loved it. But what I mean by that is that I do think there's some weird kind of goofy, interesting, fun things that happen throughout this movie. But as you say, Eric, this is his directorial debut, and he uses it to like work through some shit. And frankly, when directors are working through shit about how they feel about the industry, they seldom make movies anyone but them want to watch.
Right.
But that's not the case with this one because this is a beloved movie. I mean, people love this movie. 7.5 is no joke. The reaction on social media when we said we were going to do this was high. People are going to watch this episode or listen to this episode and be disappointed by what we have to say, I think, because a lot of people really like this movie, but I think a lot of those people probably are doing like I did, where I watched it in 2005 and went, this is a damn fine movie, didn't watch it again, and just kind of was walking around operating under the assumption that this is still a good movie. But I gotta say, after sitting down and watching it last night, I think you hit the nail on the head, Eric. This was refreshing and new and cool in 2005, but now like it's got that whole Joe Dirt thing we talked about, where it's just there's so much relentless homophobic kind of banter, which I know it's trying to actually be forward thinking, and maybe it was at the time in some ways, but now its treatment of its gay and female characters, I just fucking couldn't. So I laughed, a lot. And again, like Robert Downey Jr. is a prince. I do love to see him get to go off like this. And I really respect and appreciate this movie for the role that it had in bringing him into as Iron Man into our lives. But But yeah, I gotta say this did not hold up for me. It doesn't hold up.
Wow. Michael?
There it is. By the way, I forgot we didn't mention this, but this was referenced to a story. Did you guys look this up? Like the book this was based on? Was it anything, or was it?
Oh, I didn't look.
The
Is it
book
like
is
based
from
on-
the mid-50s. The direct
Oh,
plot.
Jesus. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
Partly based on a book. I forgot about that.
yeah, partly based on you'll find them where the bodies are.
Right,
Or there's
exactly.
something like that. Anyways, I don't know what that was. I know that this is a slick ass movie that really puts its tongue into its cheek, and I do love that kind of stuff. I do. But there's something empty about this movie that doesn't draw me in particularly, and I'm still not sure what it is. Because I could be totally down for a non-emotional, just free-for-all of chaos, which
Right.
that's not always the case, as we said. Downey gets emotional, and there are tender moments, and there's hardcore shit that happens to people that is terribly traumatic. The bottom line is, does the movie hold up? And when I see this film, it's the fact that it just leans so hard into the endless gay jokes. It's hard to ignore because it's almost like every other scene is about it, and it's hard to forget that. And I know that like they don't think they mean any harm by it, but it's just cheesy, tacky. It's not funny. That's the other key thing too. It's supposed to be funny, not funny. And yes, everybody loves Robert Downey Jr. I love Val Kilmer in this performance. I really do. He is a big part of the movie for me, but that's just not enough to say that it holds up. I do not believe this film holds up.
Wow.
Whoa.
I think we're gonna have some disappointed
Jesus.
listeners on this one.
3
But if
doesn't
you're-
hold up on a 7.5.
If you're listening and you've not watched it in a while and you think that we're wrong and you think that we're crazy, I suggest
Yes.
you go back and give it another watch and with a critical eye, you know, because and again, I don't think any of us are saying this movie has no value and that it's like not remotely entertaining, although Eric did get up to go to the bathroom at the climax. I think that, you know, it just doesn't hold up by the standards of today.
Yes, sir. That's fair to say. I think that's a really important point. Go back and check it out if you haven't seen it in a long time before you rip us to shreds, or you email the show, cinema9pod@protonmail.com, and say, you guys are dicks. You ruined my childhood. So, and again, if you watch this as a child, that's also kind of bizarre. So.
We watch more fucked up movies than this as children. At least
That's
you and I
true.
did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we totally did that. So, okay. Well, thank you guys. The next week's show will be my selection. So it's time for me
All right.
make a choice. It's time for me to consult the list. This list is so long, by the way. It's like 60 movies.
Are you
control.
deciding right now?
Yeah, I guess I am deciding right now. I think I had something. I was pretty confident I wanted to do one. I'm just double checking before I announce it because last year I wanted to do it and somehow I got talked out of it. So we're going to do it this time.
We talked you
We're
out of it?
Yes, or I allowed myself to be talked out of it.
Okay.
We're going back to 2005 again, the same year,
Wow.
back-to-back
Alright.
years. We're doing it. We're doing Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart and Just
my
Friends. We're doing it.
I
It's a
didn't talk you out
holiday
of it last year.
film. It's the holidays this year, so let's see what happens.
All right, Just Friends. All right, good call.
Just Friends. For some
I mean,
reason, I'm picking movies with Christopher Marquette in it. That's too straight with the dude from The Girl Next Door. He plays his brother in this one. So.
That's funny. But you know, you love this movie, so if we don't, like, your feelings might be hurt.
That's fine. I'm not Eric. I can live with it. It's okay. So
you mean you're not me? I'm the one who gets really upset. Let's be honest.
I want to find out, but I really want to find out if it holds up because I'm not sure if it does or not. So that's why I'm bringing it to the table. So
It's not in heavy rotation?
When's the last time you watched it?
I think we watched. Actually, yeah, I did watch it a month ago. That's true.
Really?
But I hadn't seen it before that in a little bit. I took a break. I took a moratorium. So, yeah. Leanne never saw it. I wanted her to see it. That's why I watched it. That was the only reason. I didn't watch it by myself. It was not a solo watch.
All right.
This is that one I keep doing a easy hard pass on where he's got like the fat face.
Yeah, he wears
5 minutes of the movie. Like, it's
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's you'll see.
So you're telling me the rest is just regular Ryan Reynolds? So I'm excited.
Anna
Early
Faris,
2000s.
Ryan Reynolds, Amy Smart. Yeah, check it out. I think it's on Netflix too, so it should be easy access. I think it's on Netflix.
all right.
Although I don't have Netflix, but I feel like that's true.
We'll find out.
Just Friends.
So next week we'll do Just Friends, and the week after that we'll have Derek on from Pop Goes Your World. Check out the podcast. It's a really good pod. It's got a Gen X guy and a millennial talking about pop culture from the different eras. It's a really clever idea. It's a well-done podcast. So give Derek and Chris your time on Pop Goes Your World. Give them a review. Give them a 5-star review. Don't even listen to the show. Give them a 5-star review. Just go blind. So, yeah.
Cool.
All right, that's it. I think we're done, right?
I believe we're done. Yes, I've got no lines from this movie I want to quote on the way out the door, though. I got to be honest with you.
All right. Well, until next time, for Travis Roy, Eric Bresham, I'm Michael Govier. Ta-ta!